is today's job. So got a little storm cleanup to do. So I've been a little MIA with you guys for, I don't know, the last week or so. We've had storms and I think 12 or 14 inches of rain in the past 2 weeks. So, and actually on Monday night, we had an F1 tornado come through town. And I missed my house by about 6 blocks and just kind of cut a little swath through town here. So I did a little bit yesterday. My sister just lives a couple blocks over and she had 2 trees. One of them landed on the back of her house and blocking the road in the front. And then now this is for another guy that Dad knows. It's a rental property of his, but you can tell we have a very big sycamore tree that blew over and uprooted. So we're actually going to take out, I think, all the trees on the property because that one's been damaged pretty good and he wanted it out anyways. So we're gonna pop it out and then get this tree. There's not much left of the one standing in the back by the time this one fell on it. Then we're also gonna take the fence out because he's gonna get a new fence put in. So yeah, got the 2150 over here since this is a good size tree, but we're gonna do a little storm cleanup for a few days now. So I'm gonna start snapping limbs off this one and then we're gonna load them up. I got a spot opened up on the I don't know, north end of town where we can take all these limbs to and dispose them. So well, let's get to it. Yeah, I had a neighbor, the neighbor here was coming out. She was a little worried I was gonna have to drive in her yard, and I was like, no. So yeah, I apologize for not getting any videos out to you guys. I've done a few jobs, but come on, car. Oh, got another one behind me. It really only gets busy when you work in it. It's a dead end down at the other end, but yeah, I've had like 2 smaller jobs, but I filmed a little bit, but I just didn't feel like that it was great footage because 2 days out of the 3 I was working there, it rained, so you guys can't even see what I'm doing right now. But I'm trying to just fill everybody in for those that watch all the time. So it rained on me, and then I just didn't feel like it was that great of footage. It was a little bit of brush mowing, some clearing, but it was super muddy. I couldn't hardly get out to set a camera up anywhere because it was like 10 inches of just pure mud I was having to walk through. And then every time you set the camera outside the machine, it would rain enough you couldn't see anything, so I just deleted all of it and haven't really filmed anything. So that's where I've been. I've still been doing some work. I've looked at a ton of work and done little bits that I can, but it's just nothing that I consider to be like film worthy, I guess we'll call it. So, and then like yesterday was more or less running around looking at storm damage and trying to get a game plan on all that. So yeah, we were pretty lucky. Like I said, my house is about 6 blocks over that direction, kind of on an angle. So this thing came through about Monday, I guess it'd be like Tuesday morning, about 1 o'clock in the morning. Took them all about 5 or 10 minutes to blow through. I think they said it an F1 at like, I think the range was like 105 to 130 mile an hour winds is what it was. But it was a very narrow swath. Most of these houses, it's just tree damage and some roofs and stuff like that. But the further north you go, it tore up, it destroyed several homes and buildings and stuff. It had a lumber yard that it had like big I don't know, call them like carport or shed areas over all their lumber that was outside. It completely ripped them to pieces and blew them away and knocked out a bunch of car windows on a car lot and did a fair amount of damage, but it just wasn't very wide, being, you know, an F1 and stuff. So but there's a few thousand people without power through this part of town as it snapped off. A friend of mine works for the electric company. I think he said there's like 150 poles they got to replace. So I thought it was just all straight line wind stuff at first, but then they came out yesterday and finally said it was a confirmed tornado. parents, they live on the southwest part, just outside of Joplin, on like 20 acres. They lost, I think, 30 or 35 trees at their house. So I'll probably do some filming up there, as we're going to go up there this weekend and start piling them up and figuring out where we can burn them. And then I got to dig a big hole to get rid of the stumps up there. And then, like I said, my sister's house is right over across this street. She lost, I think, the last 2 trees she had in her yard. So well, there wasn't much filming for all that, I didn't think, yesterday. So yeah, you guys may see a few storm cleanup videos. So I'm trying to keep as much. This is an older lady that lives here. I mean, she's kind of fine with whatever I got to do, but very concerned about messing up her yard or anything, which is fine. So I'm going to try to pile all this stuff up here. Dad's on his way to get that big drive-on lift, so we're going to use it in the backyard. I can't really drop those trees with having another house behind it, and you just kind of got to be a little more careful around houses and stuff. It's a lot more work when you want to keep the house too. It's a lot easier on these demo jobs. You can just tear it all up, pile it up, but my truck. Like always, I busted that passenger side board again. I can't see it, I guess, when I load, and then I keep smashing stuff down in there. It didn't completely break it, it just kind of cracked it. But luckily, I buy them 2 at a time, so one of these days I'm actually going to find like somebody from a sawmill to make me some white oak ones. But for now, I just get the cheapo treated ones, so I got another one at the shop I can put on there when I get back in. And Dad just got here with the little skyjack lift so we can get to the tree on the other side of the yard, and this one in the back when we get ready to get to it. So it looks like it's getting ready to storm again, which there's chances of severe storms again this afternoon, but it may skirt us this time. So I'm gonna load him up real quick, and then we're both gonna make a run out to where we can dump the limbs. He lives just outside of town, so you got to show him an ID that you actually live in Joplin to be able to haul stuff out there. So maybe I can tell him he's with me, and then he makes the next round, and they won't stop him or say anything. But we should be able to get, I don't know, maybe most of this tree in his truck. Maybe minus the trunk, that thing's a little ugly. Whoop. Smash his boards. I'm pretty sure I do. I get further over, and then when I try to pack it all in there is when his bed is slightly lower, so I can actually see the board on that side from in here. storm blow through just south of town that I don't know if it actually had a confirmed tornado, but they said it had rotation and stuff in it. It poured rain here for a little bit, so I actually just drove the dump truck to the house, and because Ms. Elite was there in the twister safe because the sirens were going off. They went off 4 or 5 times here. They were talking like it was going to get pretty wicked, but you can probably tell on the camera that it's all down that way, so it's a couple miles outside of town, but it was looking like it was going to head right for here again, so. But now we're back at it again, so we may be able to get a couple more loads in the trucks. I don't know if they got a gate. I don't know if they'll actually close the little tree dump thing now or if they'll leave it open with stuff. But usually it's like 6 o'clock, I think, they shut it. But let's see if I can crunch these up a little bit more. But yeah, it has been a very active spring here this year. We've had more storms with rotation and stuff in them than what we normally get. I mean, well, I guess we get them every now and then, but it just seems like some years aren't near as bad as others, and most time it's like, you know, hail, heavy winds, and lots of rain and stuff like that, and just every now and then it seems like it would always have like storms with rotation here, but this year it just seems like every storm has got some sort of rotation in it, so very active spring. But I think after this afternoon or tonight, I think we're done raining until at least next Wednesday, I think, so maybe it'll start drying out a little bit. We can get a little bit more stuff done, but that can also change too. Yeah, we got some pretty big chunks in his truck, so that may not get much more in there. Here is our aftermath. So, I think we got 5 load. We got the 2 trucks loaded up right now. Dad made 2 trips and I made 1, but yeah, the yard had so much water just standing in it. It's got a low spot he told me about that always held water, so sure enough. And then we got like 1.5 inches of rain this afternoon when the tornado sirens are going off again, so yeah, we've made a huge mess. But hey, the good news is with that tree removal you get a new free lawn install, so we'll be back in the morning to I'll finish loading this stuff up. We got 1 more chunk of wood to cut in front of the lift and pull it back out, and then you gotta go to the neighbors and get, because it's the same guy who owns both these houses or rental properties, get that tree. Then I guess we're gonna go ahead and take that one down, so to be continued.